Good morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's Saturday, it's the 10th of October, and today is the feast of St. Paulinus, about whom a little bit later. We're a bit later this morning, it being Saturday, and taking advantage of a non-school day for a slight lie-in. But greetings all the same from a damp Northumberland. We're also in a position where we're wondering over the weekend what further announcements the government may be making. We are very fortunate here in the north of Northumberland that we don't have some of the problems that our brothers and sisters further down the county are experiencing. But at the same time, it is a time of anxiety for everyone. People are anxious about their own health and well-being, and people are also anxious about their businesses, and particularly in an area like this where tourism and hospitality is such an important part of our life, we think about those who are involved in that industry. At the same time, we know that something has to be done because it's clear that in the country the spike in COVID-19 has been greater, I think, than many people anticipated, and it's happening earlier in the autumn than many people anticipated as well. So the situation has to be addressed, and all of us have to be careful about the things we do and about the way in which we do the things we do in order to preserve the safety of our own person and the safety of our neighbours. I think it's now widely recognised that our church activities, being so carefully managed, remain safe. And we hope and pray that this being the case, our services will continue. Certainly they will continue through this week unless some announcement should come out. So please think that unless you hear something differently from me, our pattern of services on a Sunday and a Wednesday will continue alongside the broadcasts that we do every day. So to Paulinus. Paulinus came to Northumberland in the year 625. He came accompanying the Queen, Ethelberga, who was to be the Queen, the second or the third Queen of King Edwin. She was from Kent and was a Christian. Edwin was a pagan from Northumbria, from Bernicia, and and ruling the whole of Northumberland. And as part of the marriage arrangement, she was allowed to continue to practice her faith, to bring a staff of Christians, and the king said he would look at Christianity. Paulinus was the person chosen to come, and he has a mixed reputation. There's no doubt he was zealous to convert people, and the first step was, of course, to get the king to embrace Christianity. This took a couple of years. It took some very nice gifts from the Pope and a couple of letters from the Pope encouraging him, but eventually in 627, the king, and therefore the royal household, including Hilda, who was later to become Abbess of Whitby, were baptized. And in a sense, Paulinus was given his head. And there are accounts of baptisms in the River Trent, in the River Calder, in Glendale up near us at Yevering, and in various other places. Some people think that Paulinus was really motivated by his desire to be the archbishop and to receive the pallium from the Pope. Some people see it differently. I mean, he's a figure over which some people argue. Edwin eventually was killed. In 633 he was killed, and Paulinus and Ethelberga returned south. This again caused some controversy. You know, he baptized his people, then he deserted them. Others would say, well, that was the way that things worked in those days, although there were some people like James the Deacon who stayed. So Paulinus is a complex figure. I think that's useful sometimes because it shows that God can use complex figures. And it's certainly true that when King Oswald brought Aidan and his followers, they still found people who had remained faithful to their faith, their Christian faith, from the time of Paulinus. So there's no doubt that Paulinus planted seeds in northern England that were brought to fruition in a different age and by a different style of Christianity represented by Aidan. So we give thanks that God can use very many of us in very many different ways. May God bless us, whoever we are and whatever we're like, in following him today.